Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we're going to be chatting about the new Cinderella collection from Sigma. So this is going to be launching on September 23rd, which by the time you're seeing this video is tomorrow. If you're seeing this later, then hopefully it's still available. I have a feeling this collection is going to sell out really fast. So definitely mark your calendars. I don't know what time it's actually going to launch, but I'll put that information in the description box as soon as I find out. I also do have a coupon code for Sigma. It's Jen Phelps, so I'm not positive if it's going to work on this collection, but it's definitely worth a shot. And that'll save you an extra 10%. So let's go ahead and dive in and look at the entire collection. When I opened the big box that they sent me, I was just blown away by how beautiful everything is. It's just so well done. And I think when it comes to Disney collabs, a lot of them are just kind of hokey. And I feel like this is just a really sophisticated Disney collaboration. I really love it, from the packaging to the color story. When I showed this on my Instagram page, I actually got so many comments from you guys saying that even though you're not a Disney fan, you're planning on buying this. And I can definitely relate to that. I mean, I love visiting Disney World, but I'm also not like the biggest Disney super fan either. I don't buy Disney everything, but even I was just really interested in this collection. And if they hadn't sent it to me, I absolutely would have purchased it myself. So let's go ahead and take a look at each thing up close. And then I'm wearing a full face of everything in the collection. So once I show you guys some close-ups of everything and some swatches, then we'll get into the demo and you can see how everything applies. So let's start out with the palette. That I think is the thing that everybody is the most excited about. And the packaging is so gorgeous on the outside. You have the robin's egg blue, kind of that Tiffany blue color with the gold lettering and gold leaves. It's really beautiful. Inside you have 14 shades with matte and shimmer finishes. You have a double-ended Sigma brush as well, which is the same quality as their regular brushes that you would buy. So I love that they include this brush. And I just love the look of the palette. It does have some color to it, but I feel like they're very wearable colors. There's nothing too bright or too crazy. It honestly looks like the perfect holiday palette, and you guys know that I love Sigma's formula. I talk about them all the time. I always buy their palettes when they come out. I think they have a great matte formula that's super blendable and also buildable as well. It's not like too overly pigmented where it's hard to work with. And also when it comes to the shimmer shades in this palette, you have some that are more traditional shimmer shades that are a little more creamy and buttery, and then you have some that are a little bit more topper-like with micro glitters in it. But I find that even the toppers are not super sheer like they are in a lot of palettes. They're not as sheer. They have a lot of color to them, and you can build them up really easily. They pick up easily with your fingers as well without getting hard panned. So I think this palette is gorgeous and it's going to appeal to a lot of people. The one thing that I will say about it is it does tend to run a little bit on the deeper, smokier side. I did play with it yesterday and then again today, and I feel like both of my looks came out a little bit on the deeper side. There's not a lot of really light colors in here. And also one thing that I noticed with the palette, let me just show it to you guys up close a little bit, is that they kind of paired each shade with a matte and a shimmer that coordinate if you look up and down like that, which I think is so interesting. Not really so much over here as you have your black shade and then kind of a champagne highlight color, but all the rest of them, I just feel like they coordinate with each other so well. So if you just wanted to do a two-color look, you could easily pair each one of these together. So anyway, that's the palette. It's going to retail for $49, and you will see that in action in just a minute. And then let's move on to the cheek duo. So this one is going to retail for $35. You have a beautiful full-size blush and highlighter in here. And not only are these colors super stunning, but you have the pumpkin coach that's stamped into the highlighter, and then you have Cinderella and Prince Charming stamped into the blush, which is so adorable. And then the colors themselves are so beautiful. The highlight is like a perfect champagne highlight. It's super smooth, no chunky glitter, feels really nice and soft, and the blush as well is a gorgeous peachy pink color, so really loving that too. Next up, there's also a lip duo. It's $29 and you get a lip gloss and then also a satin matte liquid lipstick, and both of these colors are absolutely gorgeous. The liquid lipstick is in the shade Dreamy and the gloss is Magical, and while I haven't tried Sigma's liquid lipstick formula, I have tried their glosses and I love them. They don't have any type of scent to them, and they're not sticky. They feel really smooth and really hydrating on your lips. So I'm really excited about these because I think the colors look so beautiful. And then there's also a brush set. It comes in this clutch right here. It's so glittery and sparkly. And then on the inside of the bag, there's the print with Cinderella and Prince Charming in the coach, which is so cute. And then you get 5 brushes in the collection. You get the F80 flat kabuki brush, which is one of my favorite foundation brushes. It's the one that I use the most often. Also the F10 powder and blush brush. You also get the E40 tapered blending brush to soften and blend harsh lines. The E55 eye shading brush, which applies color evenly across your lid, and then the E30 pencil brush, which is also one of my favorites from Sigma. And this one you can use along your lash lines and also in your inner and outer corner. You also have the option to buy the entire collection, the big PR box like I got, and that's going to be $156, which actually saves a bit of money. If you were going to buy everything individually, it would add up to $195. So if you were planning on buying everything, it makes sense to buy the kit because you'll save $41 on that. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into the demo. You can see how everything applies, and then I'll let you know my final thoughts. Alright guys, so let's start with eyeshadow first. I already primed my eyes with the MAC Paint Pot in the shade Painterly, and I also lined my eyes with my LA Girl liquid liner, and I just like to do the liner first just to give me a little bit of a guide to see like kind of where I need to go. It just helps me so much. Plus with hooded eyes, it's just easier to do my eyeliner and to get the wings like when I have just a blank space without the eyeshadow in the way. So that's already done. Let's go into the palette, and I'm going to be using the brush that comes with the palette, the fluffy side, which is their diffused crease brush E38. And I'm going to start with this light brown shade right here. So this is blending out really nicely. It feels like Sigma's regular formula. And I like this brush too. It's a little bit smaller than the one that comes in the brush set. That one's a little bit larger, which is what I would usually use to kind of just blend out edges up here. Having hooded eyes, I usually like to use smaller crease brushes if I can, and the one that comes with the palette is actually quite a bit smaller. I'll just hold them up for you guys so you can see. This is the one that comes in the palette. So this one's just a little bit larger and fluffier, so I think this one's a really nice size for getting into the crease if you have a little bit more of a hooded eye. This eye over here is a bit more hooded. So first of all, my wing never matches on either side because this eye, it just kind of goes down a little bit more and is way more hooded. So what I'd like to do with eyeshadow on this side is just to raise it up, maybe just a little higher than this side to try to get them to match a little bit more when my eyes are open. Next, I'm going to take the E40 tapered blending brush, which is the larger crease brush that came in the brush set, and I'm just going to blend the edges of this out a little bit near my brow bone. Unfortunately, this palette doesn't have a light kind of ivory tone or anything that I would normally use to blend out the edges, so I'm just gonna go with it. This brown shadow, at least it's not super dark, and it is pretty close to my skin tone, so at least for me, I feel like it is easy enough to blend out without needing an additional blending shade. Next, I'm going to grab the shade Sweet Nightingale, which is this beautiful teal color and kind of similar to the color that I'm wearing today. And I'm going to be applying this with my Detail Diffused crease brush. So this crease brush is even smaller than the one that comes in the palette, and it's perfect for hooded eyes. You really have a lot of control over where the shadow goes. You can just get it right into your crease. And lately I've been using satin or shimmer shades in my crease, and I really like it a lot. I find that they blend out easier than matte shades do for some reason, and they're just easier to work with. I don't use anything super glittery in my crease, but this color is kind of more like a satin or like a low shimmer, and it's really beautiful. Wow, I'm loving this color. And then I'm just going to take the brush from the palette and just go over the edge of that really quick. And I'm just going to do the same thing to the other eye. And again, I'm just going to bring this slightly above my crease, just a little bit higher than the other side. And then for my lid shade, I'm going to use One of a Kind, which is like a really beautiful, pale, kind of bluish silver. I was drawn to that shadow as soon as I opened the palette, and I couldn't wait to use it. So I'm just going to apply this one all over my lid. This shade is so beautiful. It has a little bit of kind of micro glitters in it. It just looks so glimmery and so beautiful. And I love the color because it's such a soft blue. It's almost more grayish than blue, which I really like. It's just a little bit more on the subtle side, which is definitely me. So next up, I'm going to use the pencil brush from the brush set, and this is the E30. And I'm going to pick up the shade Hopeful, which is this really deep dark blue right here. And I'm just going to put a little bit of this in my outer corner. I just kind of want to darken this up a little bit, but I'm not going to use that much. And then I'm just going to blend that back toward the center with the detailed diffused crease brush. Next, I'm going to just clean off the pencil brush with my Sigma switch. This is a great tool. I use it all the time because I tend to reuse brushes for different purposes. And instead of that really deep dark blue, I'm going to use this pencil brush again to do my inner corner highlight, which is like a very light shade. So this is the one I'm going to be using for my inner corner. This is Wishful. And I'm just going to add a little bit of that right here. Okay, so before I do my lower lash line, I'm going to apply my foundation and concealer first, so I will be right back. All right, and then for mascara, I'm thinking we should use the Essence Lash Princess. It just kind of fits with this collection, and I love this formula anyway. I think it's amazing. I know some people either love it or hate it. I am one of the people who loves it. I think it just gives you such big lashes. It does sometimes smudge on me, not all the time. I feel like it sometimes has to do with like if it's humid outside or if I put like a thicker eye cream underneath my eyes, I find that mascara tends to smudge a little bit more often, but most of the time I have pretty good luck with this one. And just look at how big it makes my lashes. Like this eye compared to this eye, it's kind of crazy. This tube I've also had for a while, so it's definitely dried out some. And I find that this mascara gets even better once it dries out a little. Okay, so eyes are done. Let's try out the little blush and highlight palette. And I'm going to use the brush that they gave me in the collection. This is the powder slash blush brush, and it is their F10. So I'm just going to tap into the blush side first. This is such a beautiful color, and I don't find it to be overly pigmented. So it's not like just putting a huge stripe of blush on my cheek. It's definitely more of a buildable blush, which I love, especially having a lighter skin tone. Sometimes blushes can just be too overwhelming. So I like to be able to just go back in if I want and just pick up a little bit more. This brush is so soft and velvety too. I'm really enjoying this one. It's a little bit larger than the blush brush I usually use, which is the Flower Beauty one. So this one is kind of a larger size, but it does say it's a powder slash blush brush, so you could probably use it for bronzer or all over powder as well. Next up, I'm going to use the highlighter, a Glow, and I'm going to apply this with my Rephr number 20 highlighting brush. I'm just going to pop some right on my cheekbone. This is the most beautiful champagne highlight color. It's gorgeous, and it's so smooth too. There's no chunkiness to it, no glitter. It's just really nice and shiny. Okay, so next for lips, there is a liquid lipstick and then a gloss, and I want to use both, so I think I'm just going to top the liquid lipstick with the gloss. I'm not the biggest fan of matte liquid lipsticks because I feel like they're very drying, but I want to show you guys what this color looks like. I have to say though, I am really loving this color. It has no fragrance to it either. There's no scent, so that's a good thing. And this is just a perfect peachy nude. It's almost the same as the blush actually. And I think it's just super stunning. So I'm gonna let this dry down for just a second and then I'm gonna apply the gloss on top. I love Sigma's gloss formula because it's so smooth and it's not sticky. All right, so this is the final look. Hopefully it came out okay. It's sometimes really hard to see in this little mirror that I'm using, so hopefully everything is blended okay. This is actually a lot more makeup than I usually wear, and definitely a little bit more color than I usually wear as well. It's a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I overall have really enjoyed working with this palette. I thought everything performed really well. I didn't feel like I was struggling with any of the products at all. As far as the palette goes, my final final thoughts would be that if you like a deeper, more grungy kind of vibe, you'll definitely appreciate this. If you like smokier colors, if you like a more airy and light kind of look with your eyeshadows, you're not going to have as many of those colors to play with in here because it is very deep and dark overall. But I think it's perfect for this time of year. This is the time of year when I actually do experiment and play with those types of colors a little bit. And it's just so incredibly beautiful. I just love the color selection. And these are the kinds of tones that I would choose if I were to use a colorful palette, because I'm not into the rainbow or the bright stuff, but I feel like these are a little bit more wearable colors, for me at least. So I really enjoy this palette a lot. I can't wait to just keep playing with it, and it definitely inspires me to create some really fun looks. I also love the blush and highlighter. I just think they're absolutely stunning as well, and a great formula. The brushes that I used I think were amazing. I love Sigma's brushes anyway, and I use them all the time. And even if you're not planning on buying the whole brush set, this one does have a great double-ended brush with the crease side and then one for packing shadow on your lid. And also when it comes to the lip colors, I think their glosses are amazing. I've loved their glosses for a while now because they're not sticky and they don't have a scent to them. And I think the color in the liquid lipstick is so beautiful, and I haven't really felt dryness with this at all. Now, granted, I do have the gloss on top a little bit, but even when I first applied it, it didn't have that typical dry feeling that liquid lipsticks usually have. So it just feels very, very comfortable on my lips. So anyway, guys, that's the whole collection. I'd love to hear from you down in the comments below what you're planning on picking up, if anything. I'd love to hear your thoughts in general on all of it. And also, if you do plan to purchase, don't forget to use my code JenPhelps. It'll save you an extra 10%. Hopefully it works on this collection. I'm not 100% positive, but it's always worth a shot. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me as always. I appreciate it so much. If you have some extra time and you want to check out some more videos, I'll pop a couple right up here on the screen for you to check out. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you in my next one. Take care. Bye.